Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. Okay, so the previous video we made has the electric heaters installed. Now we're going to show what the gas heaters would look like in this particular project. So let's go back into those overall dimensions that I have. Overall dimensions, I have this section here at 28 feet, this section here on the inside edge of this wall here to 13 feet. I have this height here of 12 feet to the awning structure up here. And then on this side here, I have that at 10 feet off the finished floor to the bottom edge of the awning itself. That's about it for right now. Let's go ahead and turn this off and check out what options might work for this particular project. So I'm going to first show a option with 3 units like this. So these units here, I'm going to go ahead and show, these are all S25 models, and those S25 models, I have this centered within the patio structure, and I believe this is roughly about 6 feet. Let me just double check on that. Let's see if I can grab the center point here, and we'll go to here, and yeah, actually 9 feet center to center. Let's go ahead and swap that out and look at the footprint. But first of all, I should mention that the clearance on an S25 model is 9 inches of clearance to any combustible surface above the heater itself. And let's go ahead and just pull this down slightly, and let me move this up here. So essentially what we have is from this point here, the lower edge, the lower section of the awning, from this point here up has to be a minimum of 9 inches of clearance. What I've done here is I've taken the OEM bracket that comes with the heater, and I have placed, let's see if I can get out of there, I have placed the bracket going parallel with the awning structure. Obviously there's nowhere to connect this awning structure, but if you were to somehow utilize some kind of steel that comes across, something of that nature that's 6 inches wide, then this is how you would do it, and change the actual angle here of the bracket itself. So from this point here, you would go from a flat surface to an angled surface. However, this is not what I would recommend for this particular bracket to be utilized. I would probably just remove these brackets and then use something known as unistrut or something of that nature that can actually be installed. Let's see if I can show how that would be installed in each section. So if I was to pull this out here, you can see that that unistrut would be something that you could mount within this span here. And let me go ahead and see if I can get in here closely, and we'll bring it in here. And obviously, yeah, so you take some unistrut and put those unistrut pieces, let's see if I can hit this here. So that unistrut would come across something like this. And then you can use an L bracket here instead of the OEM bracket that I showed just a minute ago. But again, making sure that you are maintaining that 9 inches of clearance above the heater on this particular side, lower side of the awning structure itself. So that would be how that would look. And now let's go ahead and look at how that footprint of heat would look with just 3 units here. Would that be enough? Let's go ahead and turn that array on, and you can see here that we're covering the area fairly decently. It's not 100% covered. You can see that this inside edge over here, as well as the outer area over here, and I do have these centered within this span from left to right here. We're not 100% heated. However, if you were to have some sort of drop down shade or screen sections on the 3 sides that are open, or I should say the 2 sides that are open, then you could maintain some of that warmth in there. And as people sit down, you know, the human body puts out heat as well. And with that covered section, if these were all covered, then this might be something efficient for this particular project. Now I'm going to go ahead and show what another option would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and then show what an option like this would look like, going now parallel with this section here. And by the way, the Sunpak unit is a 4-foot long unit, so 48 inches from this point here to this point over here. And also the heater itself is 8 inches wide, so from this point here to this point here, 8 inches, and then 8 inches tall. From that on an S25, and again, this is specifically, you know, dealing with S25 models here, you would need that 6 inches of clearance on the low side again, so you'd have to make sure that this low edge here is 6 inches of clearance just below the combustible awning structure itself. So that 6 inches has to be from the awning material, not the frame, but the awning material itself. So you could cut these support posts or beams here, and then either use a 45 or 90 degree elbow, something of that nature to connect it, or it could be welded depending on how you want to do that. But definitely I would like to have this straight down so it doesn't look like it's at an angle, and then you can connect it to the actual OEM bracket that comes with the heater itself right here. So let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat with this. Oh, and by the way, these are centered within that span again. So from this point here to this point here, the inside edge of the wall, we're at the center point of the heater itself. So let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat. Let me go ahead and turn that on. So this would be the footprint of heat, and I'd like to move this over here a little bit, kind of take a look at this layout here. Now you can see that this layout here, and I have these heaters mounted on each one of these cross members from here, 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 and here. I think that would be a really good output of heat on utilizing these 4 units. And let's go ahead and just turn this all the way up here and take off the awning material here for a moment to take a look at that. But yeah, you can see that this would be a very good output for these units themselves. So alright, so that would be a second choice, and then here would be the third choice, which would be utilizing possibly 6 units. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that awning material off, and we'll take a look at what I've done here. So here, what I've done here is made these center point to center point at 6 feet center to center, and then mounted it similar to what I was talking about before, using some unistrut or something of that nature to go across this whole section here, and then mount the actual bracket itself here. I also, you can see that I utilize the 9 inches of clearance from this point here. Let me just get my arrow here, from this point here up to the awning material. And then these units themselves, I went ahead and just made it so that the bottom edge of the heater is at the same elevation as the bottom edge of these heaters here. So I think I might even have that as a, let's see if I can pull that up here real quick. This is the actual dimensions. I think this is actually the one for the center units that I had just shown a minute ago. Yeah, so these are a little bit higher. So what the true mounting edge for this particular project here, if I went to the bottom edge here, came out Let's see if I can do that again. Sorry for the delay on that. I think this is actually it right here. But let me just delete that for a minute. Yeah, so there we have it at 9'4" on an S25. A 9'4" is typically not the best height. It'd probably be better if it was like 8 feet off the floor. But if we're utilizing 6 units like this, I would say this is fairly decent, pretty good actually, because of the amount of coverage that we're going to get, the infrared light waves that we're going to get. Also, it gives a little bit better as far as the view is concerned. You're not really going to be looking at the heater as much. And also that I'm going to turn off these dimensions here. Also that as I stated before, if these sections are covered at different times of the season, you're not going to need as much heat at all. So you don't need the higher output S34 model in something like this. Now I also want to state something else. I'm not sure about whether this section over here on this awning is actually going to be enclosed. So this is put the awning material back on here. Let's just say that there is an enclosure section here, that this section is enclosed with this red awning material. Then you definitely want to make sure that it's vented here, because if you don't have it vented, the exhaust gases will build up inside of the below the awning itself, and that would cause a lot of issues down the road. So if you had just a vent open here that allowed the exhaust to flow out without a problem from the awning, then you're going to have a longer lasting awning, and you won't have other issues with lights, speakers, things of that nature. So that's something else to think about. But let's go ahead and show that footprint of heat, and you can see that that footprint of heat is really, really good. Again, we're heating up the whole entire patio structure. Let's go ahead and take off the awning again and move this around, and you can see that yes, we're just heating up the whole entire space here very, very decently. So I would say this is the best application right here, and the second best would be the utilizing the other units, the 4 units in this fashion here. This would be the second best, and then of course this would be pretty decent, but not 100% coverage. So I think that's about it. All right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you'd like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please tap that like button if you find this video useful. We don't advertise, not monetize. YouTube will not support our channel unless we receive a thumbs up from our viewers, and we really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.